Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Nick Foy, the founder of AskNickFoy.com, and welcome to my YouTube channel where today we're going to be covering Google Analytics in this tutorial video. So Google Analytics is the #1 analytics tracking software, service, whatever you want to call it, for websites. So it's free. When you start a website, you usually want to connect to Google Analytics. There's a free plugin if you have a WordPress website. If you don't have a WordPress website, you can copy some code from Google Analytics and paste it into the header code section of your website. There's a lot of techie people out there that can do that for you if that sounds confusing. But if you're here today, I would assume you've already started getting Google Analytics set up or you're somewhat familiar with it. So this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you inside on my computer screen how to use Google Analytics based on the newest update. Every so often, Google redoes the layout of Google Analytics, so we have to keep updating these videos to keep up with all the changes they're making inside of Google Analytics. So if you're ready, we can go ahead and jump over onto my computer screen and we'll dive right into this tutorial video. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is sign into your Google Analytics account and select the website that you want to track data for. So I've got multiple websites here, so if I click this little menu up here in the top left hand corner, it would drop down a list of all the different websites that I currently have hooked up to Google Analytics, and then I could pick the one that I want. So right now I've got one of my golf websites. I've got about 3 different golf websites that all send traffic back to one main store page. And I also have some traffic going to another platform that sells some golf products. So I sell a lot of golf e-commerce products for people on these websites, and I use the 3 different websites to drive traffic to those stores to try to turn traffic into customers. I also drive traffic to my email list. So 3 different websites. It's not necessary to have that, but I've been able to build out one website and decided to start a couple different websites to focus on different niches within the bigger niche of golf. So we're on one of my websites today that I've selected, and you're going to notice this little menu bar running down the left hand side here. So we've got the home tab where it's going to give you a little overview. So yesterday I had 983 people stop by this website. It shows based on time, what time roughly they were coming. So starting around 6 a.m. I started getting traffic to my website all the way throughout the day until about 11 p.m. and then of course it dies off because most of my traffic is from the United States. So obviously everybody's going to sleep around that time. But then we can scroll down here and it'll show how do you acquire users. So it's got these little bar charts. So for the past 7 days, it has a breakdown where they're coming from: social media, organic search, meaning like Google, Bing, Yahoo, the different search engines, direct, if they're coming somehow direct to my website. So maybe another website linked to my website. That could also fall under referral sometimes. And then we've got other. So you can go through here and see kind of day by day where it is, or you can look at the visual chart, just the big chunks of color. So the dark blue is the social, and then the other shade of blue here that's a big chunk, that's the organic search. So I can kind of visually look at it, and they've got a little chart here, scale, so you could see total. Over here on Sunday I hit over the 1,200 mark, almost got up to 1,400 people coming to my website that day. But on average, we've hovered above 800 to 1,000, somewhere in there. So you can look at that. You can go into source/medium. So not only do they bulk it like general, so social, organic search, but if you want to break it down, we can click source medium. So that'll show you, some of your biggest sources. So under social, a lot of that is coming from Pinterest. And then organic was Google mostly, not so much Bing or Yahoo. But it kind of breaks it down specifically, under that category. And we'll go more into detail over here under the acquisition tab shortly. So as we keep scrolling down here, you can see how your active users are trending over time. So you can see in the past month, in the last 30 days, my active users has been trending higher and higher and higher. And then you can see weekly and daily. So it breaks it down here for you. So right now at my current pace, we'd be averaging about 21,000 active users. So then we can look at retention. So out of all the people coming to my website, how many come back in the future weeks. So you can see that I get around 2% people coming back, so retention wise, which isn't too bad. Then when we get down here, when do your visitors visit? So you can look at the time of day, obviously where it's darker, that's where the traffic comes in a little thicker. So on Sunday, it seems to be a more popular day, which is why I had almost 1,400 people come on that Sunday. But you can see kind of the times broken down from, midnight to midnight. Sessions by country. So again, the United States is where most of my sessions comes from. We've got Canada. We've pretty much got all these countries across the map except for like Africa and Greenland. We're not getting some traffic there. We're not getting anybody from Mongolia. But pretty much around the world, we're seeing traffic come from the majority of the countries. And then sessions by device. So a lot of my traffic is coming from mobile and then a little bit from desktop and tablet. So that's why it's super important nowadays for your websites to be mobile optimized, because more and more people are on their smartphones now and not so much on laptops or desktop computers. So a lot of the traffic, especially from social media, people are on their phones, on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Snapchat, all the different social media platforms. Normally people are on those on their phone. So when you're marketing your blog articles, your YouTube videos, your podcast episodes, on these platforms, they're clicking on them via mobile. So that's why you're seeing a lot of traffic come from mobile nowadays. So it's important to have your website, your YouTube videos, your podcast episodes, any content you put out on the internet, you want to make sure it's mobile optimized so that the user can have a great experience. All right, so as we scroll down, you can also see down here which pages are getting the most page views. So I can see some of my best performing web pages on my website. And then we can go into the full pages report here. We can update if we want to see the last 28 days, the last 90 days, the current year. If you want to change the time span, pretty much all of these summary boxes allow you to change the time span here. So this is kind of your overview page. It's probably your most important page to check out if you want to get a quick glance at how your business is doing, scrolling down here, looking at all the different boxes. Now, each of these individual boxes we've got here have their own tabs over here in the menu. So again, this is like a summary page, but if you want to explore them more in depth, then we can just scroll down here along the side. So right here, audience, we can click on this one, get an overview again of our audience. So we'll click on the overview tab and it will load that page for us. So again, we can see how many people came here the last 7 days. So I can set the dates here. So March 9th to March 15th. If I want to zoom out to like a month or a year, I could do that. And it shows you kind of a visual way as well as an analytical data way. So you can look at the visual graph. You can look at the pie chart here visually, or you can look at straight up hard numbers. And again, they kind of show an up and down like visual graph if you're more of a visual person when analyzing data. So new versus returning. So we've got 71% of our traffic coming to our website is new people. We also get 28% returning visitors. So that's good that people are coming back time and time again. You can look at users versus new users versus sessions. So a user is an individual, unique person, whereas a session might be somebody who, came back multiple times. So it could be the same person. They might come back in the morning and at night, so that would count as 2 sessions, but it's still the same user. And then page views, pages per session, bounce rate. So these are other analytics. You can measure performance over time. You can look at language. You can look by country. You can go by city. So again, if we look at the full report here, I can see all the different countries sending traffic to my website. We can go by browser system. If they're on mobile, we can look at what systems they're using. So there's lots of different ways you can look at the data here about your audience to get a better understanding of who your audience is. So we'll go ahead and close that box. Next, we've got the acquisition box here. So again, we can do an overview tab where it's going to just give you that quick summary overview of where your traffic's coming from. So it'll break it down in like a pie chart. So we've got social, organic search, direct, referral, other. You can kind of see day by day the user graph again, how many people are coming each day. And then it breaks it down here for you, what they're doing, how many pages per session. So different sources of traffic, you might see different behavioral patterns coming from those sources of traffic that is important to analyze. But we want to go here under all traffic and we want to go to sources/medium. Again, this will break it down more specific for you. So I can see in the last several days, a lot of that traffic's coming from Pinterest. and Google. Those are my two main drivers here. We've got direct as well. Almost 1,000 users came direct. And then ConvertKit email, Facebook ads, other search engines, so Yahoo and Bing. So I can see some different ways to break down that social media into Pinterest, into Facebook, into Instagram. You can see the breakdown of which social media platforms are sending how much traffic. And then you can click here to see all the rows if you want to see all your different traffic sources. So that's the acquisition tab. That's pretty much the only one you'll use there. Next, we've got behavior. This one's got a lot of different things you can look at. So behavior is important for analyzing, what your traffic's doing. If you want to see, what pages they're clicking on, how many pages they're clicking on, what pages they're hopping to next. So maybe they start on your blog post, but then next they jump over to a product page. So it's important to look at the behavior to understand how your traffic's actually interacting on your website. So first, look at acquisition to see where they're coming from. Then we look at behavior to understand what they're doing on your website. And that can help you better set up your website pages and linking to each other and your systems that you set up to be able to funnel that traffic through your system to make sure they're performing behavioral actions you want them to, such as clicking on your email list or your product pages, whatever your goal is for that traffic. All right, so under the behavior tab here, we want to go under site content and click on all pages, and this will break down all the different web pages that are getting traffic. So I can see the different top 10 articles here on my blog that are getting the most traffic. You can look at, specifically page views versus unique page views. So these might be unique people that came to those pages if they looked at that page multiple times. Entrances, bounce rate, exit percent. So I can see that out of these, 2,175 page views, 44% of the time people just clicked off my website after looking at that article. And then the other 56% of the time people moved on to other articles on my website. So that's good. If you got a low exit rate, that's a good thing. That means people aren't just hopping off your website. It means they're actually clicking to other pages on your website, which is what you want. Maybe you want them to start on your article and then click to your email opt-in page to get them onto your email list. So you wouldn't want to see a high exit percent. If you do see a high exit percent, you should go in and try to better optimize that article so that it, keeps people around on your website. So I can see this one's only 26%. That's really good. Whereas the highest here out of these top 10 looks like 44.56%. So I could go in, since this is kind of the highest, and try to figure out how to better optimize it so that people don't exit it. But looking at this article, it says best golf balls in 2017. So the reason this exit is actually higher is because I've linked to different products on Amazon that they can click to. So they are clicking off my website, but they're going to Amazon through affiliate links that takes them to products they could purchase on Amazon. I end up earning a commission if they buy those golf balls on Amazon. So that's why there's a higher exit percent here, because I'm actually directing them off my website over to Amazon. So that makes sense. So you want to analyze exit rates, kind of try to figure out why people are leaving. So when I analyzed this one, I understood, people are leaving because they're checking out golf balls over on Amazon. So that makes sense why it's a higher exit rate. All right, so that's just a quick overview of your top 10 best pages. Again, you can click here, show rows. You can change it to 100. You can look at your top 100, your top 200, your top 500. If you've got all those different blog articles on your website you want to look at, you can sort them, based on different things. You can check your exit percent rate. So that's the site content. Content drill down, landing pages, exit pages. Again, that's a different way to look at your content. Then we've got site speed. If you want to look at your website speed, click on overview. It'll tell you how fast your website loads on average. You can also look at specific pages to see if certain pages are going slow. You might have too many images or big media on those pages that's slowing down that page, and that's hurting your overall site speed. Your site speed might be slower because of one or two pages. It might not be all of your website, but if it is your whole website, in general, a lot of your pages are going slow, you might want to check into some speed optimization settings. I've got a whole other video on that showing you how to optimize your website speed if you want to check out my YouTube channel and find that video. All right, so that's behavior. Those are really the only two things I look at. Again, I go under acquisitions. I look at where people came from under the sources, mediums tab here to see if they're coming from Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Google, Bing, Yahoo. Emails like ConvertKit is my email service. I can track if they're coming through my email marketing, if they're subscribers clicking on links in my emails I'm sending. And then once I see where they're coming from, I check out what they're doing under the behavior tab by going to all pages and looking at, which pages are getting the most views. I can click on individual pages. So let's go ahead and open up this one, Hottest Female Golfers of 2017. This happens to be one of my, popular articles. I would imagine it's a lot of males checking out the hottest female golfers out of curiosity. So it's kind of a funny article that I wrote, but I knew it would do well, so that's why I wrote it. And of course, it is doing well. It's getting me lots of traffic to my website. So what we can do here is go under secondary dimension, so I can look up specifically for this article where that traffic's coming from. So we can go under acquisition as a secondary dimension. I can go right here to the source/medium tab. All right, so when this page loads, we can see here that 1,700 people came from Google. Another 184 come from Pinterest, 176 came direct, and then we've got a bunch of just random sources down here that sent a little bit of other traffic. But primarily, this article is being found via Google. So if we were to type in, for example, hot female golfers as our search query, Google is going to pull up my article #1 in the search engines. So that's the top performing article right here, Hottest Female Golfers 2017. #1 comes from golfpracticeguides.com. So since it's ranking #1 in Google, then that's why I'm getting lots of traffic in the last 7 days from this article. So that's a little bit of what you can do under the behavior tab. We'll go ahead and close it here. Then we've got conversions. So if you set up different goals, like if you run an e-commerce site, you can set up goals to track where people are, ending up on your product pages, or if they're ending up on your checkout page or your thank you page once they've purchased. So you can track specific pages and set up goals, and it'll count as a conversion if they make it all the way to that specific page. So again, we will cover that more in depth in another video. It's kind of complicated to set up a goal. There's some technical stuff you've got to go in and do. But that's pretty much it. You got the acquisition tab, the behavior tab, and the conversions tab, as well as the audience tab, which we covered earlier. It's just the overview of, looking at the general summary of where your audience is coming from, what countries, what languages, what mobile devices, what desktops, tablets, all that different data shows you a general picture of your audience so you can understand who your audience is, what demographics, what age range, what gender, to help you better improve your marketing tactics to specifically target your audience. Once you know about your audience, you can figure out where they're coming from via the acquisition tab, and then what they're doing on your website, what pages they're finding, what links they're clicking, things like that through the behavior tab. So that's a pretty general summary of the Google Analytics platform. I hope this tutorial was helpful for you and that you learned something new. It seems kind of complicated when you first get started with Google Analytics, but for most of you, you're probably going to rely on that home tab, just looking quickly at all the different data here on the home tab. It kind of sums it up all nicely for you. And then if you want to get more specific, you can break it down individually in the menu here via audience, acquisition, and behavior. All right, thanks so much for being here today, checking out this tutorial. If you want to learn more, you can check out my playlist I've got on different topics like social media, websites, plugins, marketing, e-commerce. I've got lots of different categories, so head over to the playlist, check those out. If you're someone who learns better via courses, or you're curious what courses I offer, I'll link to those below in the first link in this description. I've got one called Profitable Blogger. It's like a 30-day training camp, boot camp type course. So you're gonna find all kinds of different modules covering different things like how to set up a website, how to pick a theme for it, all the plugins you need to install for your website, how to set up your different web pages. Once you get your website set up, then we help you set up your social media accounts, getting all your different social platforms so that you can market yourself on social media and gain a following, gain an audience through that. We go over email marketing, how to build an email list so that you can market to those people. So once you get people coming to your website from social media, you want to get them onto your email list so that you can begin sending them emails, marketing to them, trying to sell some kind of product. Then we help you get set up with products, how to sell affiliate products, other people's products to make money as an affiliate marketer. I show you how to create your own products on digital platforms like Teachable, Udemy, or creating your own custom e-commerce store that you host on your own website if you don't want to use a third-party platform. So again, we'll show you how to set up your own products or sell other people's products so you can start making money online. So all this is taught in this course, plus a lot more, like how to use Pinterest. Pinterest has been huge. As you saw, it's one of my top traffic sources. But you can learn all this in this course called Profitable Blogger, and I'll link to that below. If you're someone who's already got all those things set up and you want to learn how to drive more traffic to your website, more traffic to your store to try to increase your revenue, increase your sales, then I've got a course called Profitable Pinterest Traffic, and that's going to show you how to drive thousands and thousands of visitors to your website every month through Pinterest. So again, I'll link to that below in the description. And that concludes this video. If you want to join my email list as one of my final pitches here, I've got lots of great tips I send out to my email community on a weekly basis. So maybe you're someone who's not on YouTube all the time. You want to get an email notification of when I published my newest video or my newest blog post or a product that helps people. You can sign up to my email list. Just go to asknickfoy.com and you'll find the opt-in form for my email newsletter. Thanks so much again, and I'll see you guys in the next training video. Take care.